Thogdad's had a haircut. I'm still looking all long and, I decided to go to the gym instead of the barber. Sorry to flex to you lot. But let's get on with today's video. We're going to go through every Premier League club and pick one player they missed out on in the transfer window. Interesting. Did your club have the perfect transfer window? If they didn't, tune into this video. And if they did, watch it anyway because, I don't know, it's a bit of banter, isn't it?
It is. And shall we start with Arsenal, Theo?
Without the like target? Are you mad?
Oh, a like target. Go on. 12,000.
That was the most boring, no hearts behind it like target I've ever seen in my life.
So just get with it.
Yeah, all right. We're going to get 25,000 likes.
Except we're not.
The straight face will bring us to 25,000 likes. When I do the straight face, we hit it, okay? 25,000 likes. There you go. Okay. I don't know what's going on. Let's move on to Arsenal. Who have you gone for?
Arsenal, I've gone for Yves Bissouma from Brighton, the central midfielder. That would allow Arsenal to get rid of El Neni and Xhaka. It would make things more solid in the middle. You've got to agree.
I think they signed someone a little bit similar style in Lokonga. A midfielder that's box to box, will win the ball back and fight for the club. So I've gone for someone different. I've gone for James Madison, a player they were heavily linked with over the summer. Then they obviously gave the number 10 shirt to Smith Rowe and they brought back Odegaard. For me, that's not what I would have done if I was part of the Arsenal board. I would have definitely pushed to sign someone new in that attacking midfield position because it needs refreshing, I think. I don't think Odegaard was so good they had to get him back.
Why would Madison want to go to Arsenal?
It would have to be a money reason. Emirates is a great place to be. It's in London. They've got good facilities. Arsenal are historically a very good football club. There are reasons for James Madison to make that move, but it would have to make sense financially. And eventually, Arsenal are going to have to cough it up to improve.
Aston Villa, I've gone for Mikhail Damsgaard, Theo. He's 21 years old. He had a great Euros for Denmark, and I reckon a cheeky bid to Sampdoria might have worked.
To be honest, I think the one position Villa needed more than anyone from this transfer window is a holding midfielder that will sit there, cover the defence, win the ball back, and the answer to that problem, it's actually a player you've already mentioned, Bissouma. I think Villa should have signed him. And the truth is, they didn't get a DM. So it's something they lack, and that's my option.
Brentford now, and I've gone for nobody. I tell you why, Theo. They've kept their best players. They brought in 3 good players. And you know what? They've looked at the data, and they've decided they don't want anyone. Then I agree with them.
Yeah, I think they could have added somebody to bolster their defensive options. Vanderson, the highly rated Gremio defender, the right back was linked with AC Milan last week, but didn't end up making the move to either. I think it would have been very good to add some beef to that fullback position for the Brentford boys. But I can understand where you're coming from because they weren't really linked with anybody else apart from the 2 players in Onyeka and Aya that they signed.
I tell you what, in Matt Benham we trust because he is the best at the transfer market in the country. It's as simple as that. I can't second guess him. Brighton and Hove Albion, I've gone for Darwin Núñez from Benfica. It's got to be a striker, hasn't it, Theo? And I tell you what, this Uruguayan, he's been great for his country and for his club. And you know what? He gets as many assists as he does goals.
Fair play. It's interesting you said that. I've gone for someone different. And it's going to hurt, Brighton fans. It's a striker. They were linked with him. You know who I've picked. Odsonne Edouard. Because we all want to be Edouard, right? Okay, stop singing because Brighton fans, you've gone to Palace. You kind of just, you're never welcome to the Amex Stadium ever again.
They're the rivals, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. You were interested in it and you lost out to your rivals. And I think that's a big miss because that forward position for Brighton is still looking quite thin. So it's a shame they couldn't get anyone done, really.
Burnley of Lancashire now, and it's got to be Ross Barclay. You might have forgotten who he is. A couple of years ago, he was banging in goals for England. Now he's the forgotten man. He's not going to play for Chelsea. Bring him back to the Northwest.
That is too inconsistent for me. Honestly, whatever team you give him to, he just doesn't play that good every single week. And I've gone with Weston Mckenney, the US international at Juventus. Now, if you were living under a rock, you would have missed it. He was somehow offered to Burnley Football Club on deadline day. Weston Mckenney! I mean, this guy's meant to be the next big thing. Honestly, it shocked me. But that deal never did go ahead. I don't know, for whatever reason, Burnley didn't want to. Maybe it was a wage thing. But it really is an improvement on Jack Cork and Westwood. And he would have added some serious prowess and energy to the midfield.
I think Ross Barkley would be great at Burnley and Sean Dyche would know how to get on with him. Chelsea now, and I've gone for Jules Koundé, the French international, who turned down Spurs. He's one of the most highly rated centre-backs in Europe. What a great fit at Chelsea.
Would have been the final piece to the Chelsea puzzle. That team would have been complete with him. A world-class centre-back. We know how good he is. He's French. He's about to play for the France national team. He's got Europa League and Champions League experience. He's fast. He's good on the ball. He ticks all the boxes. And that deal was really being built up for the whole summer transfer window. So I agree with you, Thogdad. Jules Koundé. It's a shame that move didn't happen for Chelsea fans.
Crystal Palace now, and I've gone for Jeremy
Beadle?
Hey, do you know what? I knew you were going to do that joke.
Oh my God, what's that come from?
I had Jeremy Beadle at the ready.
Okay, but have you actually picked Jeremy Beadle as the Palace player that they missed out on signing in the summer transfer window?
I've gone for Jeremy Boga, the Ivory Coast international. Now, he was at the Chelsea under-23s for a while. Quite a plur. He's at Sassuolo at the moment.
And I agree with you. He actually had very good stats in the 1920 season in Serie A, getting 11 goals in 34 games. Fell off a little bit in the last season, but obviously with a few injuries, it can be like that. Clearly a special talent, ex-Chelsea, 24. It's a shame he didn't move for Palace, would have added some depth to the wing.
Everton now, and it's got to be Denzel Dumfries, doesn't it, Theo? He can play right midfield, he can play right back, and what a Euros he had for the Netherlands, Theo. He went for 11 million to Inter Milan.
11 million? Are you kidding me? That geezer would just run through teams. Do you remember how good he was?
Yes, I do.
In the Euros, he would grab the ball in a defensive position and simply run. The Netherlands boys just gave it to him, and the rest was history. The fact he went for 11 million to Inter is mental. Everton should have given him double the money to come.
But Theo, financial fair play. That is the problem at Everton right now, sadly.
And unfortunately, that move didn't happen. I would like to see Dumfries in the Premier League soon, though, so unlucky.
Leeds United, and it's got to be Matheus Cunha, the Brazilian, who was absolutely amazing for the Brazil under-23s. He can play centre-forward, second striker, left wing, right wing. He can play anywhere. An exciting player.
Yeah, I don't think Cunha has a good enough work rate for Bielsa, personally. I think someone who does is Nath Hernandez. Now, obviously for Leeds, I think he'd be perfect. If you don't know who he is, he can play right back, he can play in the midfield. He's all about energy. He's perfect for Bielsa, and Leeds were linked with him very late on in the window. He was offered to them, the deal fell through, but it's a real unfortunate one because it would have been perfect for the Leeds boys.
Leicester City now, and I've gone for another versatile player. It is Callum Hudson-Odoi, who is not going to get a lot of game time at Chelsea, sadly. I want to see him play week in, week out. Again, he can play left wing, right wing, attacking midfielder. He is a future star.
And I see where you're coming from. Leicester really missed out on a right winger, and they didn't buy one this transfer window. Lookman's more, left-sided, I would say. And personally for me, the one player I've gone for is Noni Madueke. Now, he's a 19-year-old who's actually English, playing for PSV. Went from Spurs when he was 16 years old. Got some regular game time out in Netherlands, and he's showing some serious talent. He's ready for a Premier League move, and that move will come in the next few years if it wasn't this summer. So watch out for the name. Unfortunately, Leicester couldn't, get pen to paper, but a real talent.
Liverpool now, and I've gone for Renato Sanchez. He's the Portuguese international. He's currently at Lille. Okay. Now, my logic is this. You've just lost Wijnaldum. Milner's not getting any younger. Henderson, sadly, will, 2 or 3 more years at the highest level. Yeah. You've got to be looking to strengthen central midfield.
And Renato Sanchez would really make up with the energy that he would offer, similar to Wijnaldum, but maybe even more. He was such a quality player we saw over the previous years, and in French League as well. So I can understand where you're coming from, Dad. I've gone for Mikhail Damsgaard. I think he's a perfect Michael Edwards type signing because he's technically gifted, he's fast, and he's cheap. They could have got him on the low, and it's the sort of signing where he'd probably be okay not being in the first team to start off with and accepting the fact it's probably going to be Jota, Mane and Salah and build his way in. His performance in the Euros was outstanding. Some of the goals showed serious quality with his technical ability.
Now, I rate him very highly, Theo. I've already mentioned him, but is he good enough for Liverpool? I'm not too sure.
I think so. And I think he'll only develop too. In the Liverpool system, he would have been perfect. Especially when Mane and Salah in the winter this year will be at African Cup of Nations. Both of them will be gone. They need wingers to replace them. Okay, they've got Jota, Firmino. They need Damsgaard.
Manchester City need a striker. We know that. They need someone who's going to score 20 to 25 goals per season for 5 years. Harry Kane, state the bloody obvious, Theo.
Harry Kane. He's the man City should have bought. What do we need to say? Because he's done it all. Yes. As in, okay, not trophies-wise, but statistically and personal accolades, he's got it all. Goals, assists, it's in his locker. Manchester City could have added a Champions League trophy to their own locker if they signed him. Personally, it's the move of the summer, and it didn't happen. City, you've had a stinker.
No, I'm not sure. I disagree with that last bit because you should never overpay for an asset, Theo. Don't pay 150. You don't pay 200 million. You'll get him in a year or two. Harry Kane wants to go.
PSG literally said no to Real Madrid on deadline day. They got offered over 220 million euros.
Which is ridiculous.
And they didn't even bother responding. PSG didn't care. We know how wealthy City are. If 150 mil offer for Kane comes in, you say yes. City should have done it.
Manchester United, Matic is getting old and Fred is simply the weakest link. You've got to buy a defensive midfielder. And Reuben Nevers became available for 35 million quid. Why didn't you buy him, Man United?
Yeah, just to let you know, I'm not crying about Man United's holding mid problem. I'm just poured some water on my face. McFred. Is it good enough? No. It sounds more like something you'd buy at McDonald's than something you want in your midfield in the Manchester United team. Quite frankly, it's the one position they missed out on. And so you know who I'm going to mention, Reuben Nevers. Now that Ronaldo's come in, it's that Portuguese link. He offers something going forward, creative. He's got a banger on him too at Old Trafford. You probably would have scored a few. And quite frankly, it's the move that should have happened when Ronaldo was in the door.
And he's a wonderful player as well. Yeah. Great to watch. 24 years old, Man United. What were you doing?
Should have done it. And the price tag would have been covered by Daniel James being sold.
Newcastle United, and I've gone for a fella who's not going to get game time at Leicester City, Hamza Chowdhury, who'd fit in well central midfield or defensive midfield.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I've gone for the same position, but even better. Boubacar Kamara, the lad from Marseille, worth 33 million. Yes, they'd probably have to cough up a lot of cash, and it's probably part of the reason it didn't happen in the last few days of the transfer window. But I think he would have seriously added some protection to that Newcastle defence, which is so needed if they want to survive this year in the Premier League. It's a shame the move didn't happen.
Yeah, but Theo, Mike Ashley's not paying that sort of money, and you know it.
That's why it didn't happen, Thogden.
Norwich City, I'm going to cheat here and say Emiliano Buendia.
You can't do this.
You had him, you sold him. You shouldn't. You should have signed a new contract. Keep
what are you
him.
doing? You're cheating?
Yeah.
So you're just upsetting Norwich and you're using this as a reason just to say, why did you sell him?
I'm saying do not sell your best player when you get back to the Premier League. Keep him. If you're going to spend 25, 30 million, buy 2 or 3 good players.
I'm getting the word, you're a mug. You should have gone for William Carvalho because that is a player that was linked with Norwich, a really good holding midfield, absolute beast, and it's gutting they didn't get to bring him to Carrow Road because not only would he love the Norwich fans, well, I'm guessing, I'm sure he would, but he'd also add a lot of protection to that defence, which is so needed. They've been conceding a few too many goals so far, and it's fair to say.
Southampton, you've already mentioned this lad, Weston Mckenney, the central midfielder. I think he would have slotted in very nicely down there.
This is why you're a mug, because you're just taking my options here, Thogden. For Southampton, I've gone with Thomas Delaney. So, similar position, you know, it's someone that could have sit in that number 6 role, could have covered centre-back as well. He went to Sevilla on a cheap, only 7 million.
Ooh.
Southampton could have coughed that up, and they would have had some added squad depth and a seriously good player.
Tottenham Hotspur, and it's Lautaro Martinez, because you've got to accept that Harry Kane is leaving. It might be next year, it might be in 2 years.
I didn't expect that statement. Hold on.
A proper centre-forward.
Thogden. We're going one step at a time here. For Spurs, I've gone for Adama Traore. And this is because Kane is staying.
Yeah.
Because think about it, okay? You get Adama Traore in the training ground. You let him learn the Tottenham way, the system. Could you imagine, after a bit of chemistry, a bit of training ground work, the link-up between Adama on the right wing and Harry Kane at striker? I think it would be brilliant. Adama's pace to get past the defenders, whip them into big Kane. You know the rest.
But the end product is often not very good.
But that's Kane's job. Are you listening?
I love watching Adama Traore, but it doesn't lead to many goals and assists.
This is why I talked about the training ground. You've got Son on the left, you've got Adam on the right, you've got Kane up top. I'm telling you, Spurs would get push for top 4 with that.
Watford now, and I've gone for a striker who was prolific at Premier League 2 level, Eddie Nketiah, Theo.
What?
Because he's at Arsenal and he's kind of stuck. I don't think he's going to get much game time, and he should, because he knows where the net is.
Well, I think the problem lies at Watford in their defence rather than their forward options. They've got Ismaila Sarr, they've got Emmanuel Dennis. What they don't have is a solid player that can play all round the defence. Bring in Jens Stryger Larsen. Now he's a player that played for Denmark in the Euros, a few decent performances, predominantly a right back, but here's the key. He could play centre back, he could play on the left. It's what Watford needs, someone with a little bit of flexibility, shall we say, around the defence. It's a shame the move didn't happen.
Stryger Larsen, crazy name, crazy guy. West Ham United, I've gone for Roma Yaremchuk, and I'm sorry, but I'm wearing a Russia top and not a Ukraine top. Now, we saw this lad at the Euros. He's a bit of a bagsman, isn't he, Theo?
You've gone for Yaremchuk it or Scranit, have you?
Yay!
I thought you made that joke, Thogden. I've kind of taken your role there. But listen, I don't agree with you. Ooh. West Ham nearly signed one of the best left-backs out there, okay? Someone who's got pace and prowess up that left side. Now that Cresswell's 31, he would have been a great replacement in the future. Nicolas Tagliafico. Messi loves him, and so would have the West Ham fans. A real shame that move didn't happen.
But the thing about Yaram, chuck it or scran it, Theo, he can play as centre forward if Mikhail Antonio's injured. He can play left wing, right wing, versatile.
He could do it all, Thogdad.
And finally, Wolverhampton Wanderers and Wolves fans will agree. Sven Botman, he's 21 years old. He's a centre back. And Lille, they couldn't agree on a price there.
Real shame. I've gone with a player that Wolves were heavily linked with. This is a deal I didn't expect to happen, but when I saw the links, it was a must for Wolves. Renato Sanchez. They only have got 3 midfielders, and they could definitely do with Renato, someone who would drive with the ball, pace. You know, he's fast. He's got good dribbling ability. He's got a core that will just hold off any play. Even Thogdad.
No chance.
But no, it's a shame that move didn't happen. But I agree with you as well. Sven Botman would have been a good signing to add to the defence. 2 good options there for Wolves fans. Right, that is it, Thogdad. 25,000 likes. Not your boring 12k, because remember, the straight face will get us there.
Right, I'm going off for a cup of tea with Jeremy Beadle.
Right, we're ending this video. Thogdad's a mug, and I need a fresh trim. See you all in a bit. Bye.